So you asked about the challenges
Mm.
in writing materials, and I presume you mean writing materials professionally.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah, I meant professionally. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think probably the biggest challenge is to do with how things have speeded up.
Mm.
So, in terms of actually writing, schedules now are very, very tight.
Right.
And, this does make it very difficult to do anything else at the same time, because for a long time I was teaching part-time and writing part-time. I
Mm.
don't think we really do that now
Oh, I
because they
see. I see
expect
what you
everything
mean.
so
Mm-hmm.
quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think, connected with that, is the fact that actually everything changes very quickly nowadays as well. And people expect very up-to-date
Right.
topics and
Uh.
information and
Uh-huh.
which is great, but it doesn't really work very well with the printed
Yeah.
material.
That's
You
true.
know, so
Yeah.
so there's
Mm-hmm.
there's an issue there, which I think will be resolved because I think eventually we probably won't have printed material, and so it will be easier to update things and replace texts and so on and so forth. But at the moment, that's definitely an issue because everybody wants things to constantly be
Update.
updated, but you can't do
Yeah.
that with print
Certainly.
materials really.
And
You know.
in terms of speed, as you just mentioned, do you think teachers can still be creative and being under pressure? Is it
Well,
possible? I would struggle, I think.
I think there's it's about getting the right amount of pressure. I
Right.
think actually having some pressure and also, having some limitations, if you like, can sometimes make you more creative. If you've
Mm.
just got a completely blank page, that's often harder than if you're trying to work within a set of limitations. But there is a limit to it,
Right.
definitely.
See
If
what
you're
you
under
mean.
too much pressure, then it's really difficult. I mean, sometimes if I'm just stuck, I just have to stop what I'm doing and like go for a walk or have a bath or
Mm-hmm.
and then it'll come back because you just can't force creativity really, can you?
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
And if you start to
Okay.
panic, it doesn't
Yeah.
work.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because sometimes I feel inspired, let's say, just by reading stuff by maybe a Facebook post or a video that I watch, and yeah, sometimes when I'm not expecting to, I'm not expecting to find anything,
Mhm.
just browsing through, friends, timeline or my feeds, and oops, then I come across something interesting. So
Mm.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Well, I mean, I save all of those things. I
Mm-hmm.
use Evernote, and if I see anything that I think looks like it's got potential, I save it, and then I can come back and
I
look
do
there
that
when
too.
I'm
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
looking for ideas.
Yeah. Great tip. Great tip. Yeah. And Rachel, do you still teach at the moment? So are you writing full time, teaching?
Well, at the moment, I'm writing full time.
Mm.
I mean, I do try to get back in the classroom when I can. I mean, the last time I did that was a summer course,
Mm-hmm.
but that was, well, it'll be 2 years ago this summer, so I need to kind of try and get something organised again, I think, because
Yeah.
I do think it's important actually to stay connected to the classroom if you're writing materials.
Mm.
And also, I do miss it. I mean, I do sort of teacher training and,
Mm-hmm.
giving talks and that fulfills some of that. You have the connection with people,
People. Yeah.
but it's
Mm-hmm.
not quite the same as actually having a class where you see them progress.
True. And what do
So
you miss the most? Do you miss this contact with students?
yeah, I think the contact with students and the sort of, you know, the the interpersonal stuff I think is probably the
I
thing I
see.
miss the most. But also seeing people progress. I
This is
think that
amazing.
as
Yeah.
well is so satisfying, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to see when the eyes when the penny drops. Oh,
Yes.
when they get something, and you see the sparkle in their
Yeah.
eyes. Yeah. And
Yeah. No, it's fabulous. I
this is
love that.
amazing.
So,
Yeah.
mm,
And something else that I've read in one of your blog posts, Rachel, is was about being observed in class, and you've written that you've had positive. I think all of them, all of the experiences you had as to being mostly okay, as to being observed were positive, and this is something that most teachers are a bit, scared, and the ones who are going to be observed. So, do you have any tips for those teachers who are often observed in class by their academic managers or maybe a mentor? How not to feel so fearful?
I think a lot does depend on who's observing you and why, because I think, the only bad experience I've ever had, excuse me, was when I was observed as a sort of, we have this organisation in Britain called Ofsted, which is sort of goes around inspecting schools and colleges and things. And we had it wasn't Ofsted, it was a sort of pretend mock Ofsted. And it was a disaster because I was teaching a class that I'd never taught before. It was a cover for somebody else.
Oh, that's horrible.
And I was fine. And I was fine about it. I just thought, well, it's fine because he'll know that I don't know the students. But I was, getting marked down on not knowing their names. And,
really?
Yes, it was ridiculous. And then I remember there was one piece of vocabulary that was in the reading text, which was couch potato, which I explained, but he said I should have been drilling it, and I was just saying, well, but they're not actually going to use it. It's, so, and every time I tried to say why I'd done something, I got marked down for being resistant to feedback. It was a horrible experience.
Oh, dear.
And it was interesting because it really made me understand why teachers don't like being observed, because prior to that, I'd never had that kind of experience. Sure, I'd been criticised, but I'd always felt that it was fair and I'd learned something. But when this happened, I thought, okay, now I really get why some teachers hate it.
Yeah.
And I think if you get someone like that, it's not going to be an easy experience, whatever you do. But I think, generally speaking, hopefully most observation is supposed to be there in order to help you develop. So it is about remembering that, I think. And, personally, I prefer, when I've been a director of studies, which I have a couple of times, I think it's better to have a system where the director of studies or whoever's observing just pops in every so often and just has a look at what's going on
without any notice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's better because initially people feel frightened about that, but then they realise, I think, that actually it puts a lot less pressure on.
I see what
because
you mean,
they just have to do what they're normally doing. Whereas a lot of the time, when you're going to be observed, you spend hours planning a lesson and you do all these things you wouldn't normally do, and then half the time the students go, why are you doing that? You don't usually do that.
You're ruining everything.
Yeah, I've had that happen to me before.
Just pretend.
And it's really stressful. So, I think just try to do what you normally do, maybe a little bit more polished, but don't try and sort of put on this huge performance because it just isn't that helpful and it's so stressful.
That's a very helpful tip. Yeah, great. And my last question is there any particular skill that you liked or you like teaching or writing about the most? I know that there's ELT, correct me if I'm wrong, the excellent ELT materials book for writing ELT materials, right?
Oh, yes.
And you co-wrote one of the chapters. Was it about reading, Rachael?
It was about writing.
Writing. Oh, okay, sorry. Writing. Is that what you like teaching and writing the most? Writing activities?
Do you know, I kind of like doing all of it, actually.
Okay.
I am quite an all-rounder. I think the thing actually that I've been most interested in the last few years is probably listening. Because I started looking into, I've been involved in a course book called Navigate,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of it, but
I
one
have.
of the key features of Navigate is that it teaches listening and reading actually through bottom-up skills as well as top-down skills.
All right.
So there's quite a lot of focus on teaching students, not just things like sort of listening for gist or listening for specific information, but some of the things like to do with connected speech and things that make it hard for them to hear. And I think that's really, I'm really interested in that, because I think that's a big part of the reason why students find it difficult to listen, because what they're expecting to hear isn't what they actually hear. You know, and you have that experience where you go and look at the back of the course book, at the tape script, audio script, and they say, "Oh, I know all of those words. Why didn't I understand it?"
But I understand that. Yeah, that's true.
You know, and it's because of those. So that's the thing that's been most sort of interesting me lately. But really, I like all of it.
Hard question, yeah. Sorry. Sorry. Oh, Rachel, thank you so much. It was a lovely interview. I've learned lots, and I thought I would.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. You're even more friendly, like in person, over Skype. Yeah, thank you.
Lovely to talk to you, and thank you for the opportunity.
My pleasure.
Foi um prazer.
Very good. Good Portuguese. You didn't forget, huh?
No, I still use it.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Rachel.
Okay. Thank you. Speak to you soon.